Hey, my name is Nick Berhaney, and I am the Director of Coffee at Wonder State. And today we're going to be brewing up a new release, a super limited special release, one of our top 5 coffees of all time. It's the Alo Village Cascara Anaerobic. And what makes it so special is both that it's an Ethiopian coffee, we love Ethiopian coffees, and it's a coffee that boasts of those blueberry fruity notes that people fall in love with when it comes to Ethiopian coffee, and it's really floral. It's very aromatic, intensely so. So we're gonna brew that up, and I'm gonna show you exactly how I go about that process. So today we're gonna be using the Hario V60, and we're using the V60 because it's just easy to make an excellent cup of coffee. So I have water, it's about 205 degrees. I have 20 grams of coffee, and I'm gonna start my timer, and I'm gonna start by pouring just dead in the center of the coffee. Just pouring right in the middle, making very, very, very small circles. And the goal is to cover all the coffee grounds with water pretty evenly. So I'm pouring up to 60 grams, which is 3 times the amount of coffee we started with. We start with 20, we go up to 60 grams of water. I started my timer at about 20 seconds right now, and I'll be pouring again at 40 seconds. It's so floral. It's almost like it shouldn't be that floral. Like you shouldn't smell a coffee and it be that intense, but it smells wonderful. So for my second pour, I'm replicating my first pour in many ways in that you can see, I'm just pouring these small little concentric circles, just around and around. I'm never touching the edges of the brewer because I don't want to pour the water down the sides of the brewer. I want it to touch the coffee. So we're right at about 1:05 here. Around 1:15, I'm gonna pour again. Right now I'm at 150 grams for 20 grams of coffee being used. And as you can see, I'm doing the exact same thing. And notice how close my kettle spout is to the brew bed. I'm not losing a lot of temperature by doing that. And I'm keeping it from splashing, getting like all this turbulence, which can sometimes increase the amount of bitterness in your cup. We're at about 230 grams of water, a little bit over 1.5 minutes. And some of those floral aromatics are still there, but we're starting to smell the fruitiness of the coffee. I'm at 1:50 and I'm gonna finish this brew off. So I'm gonna pour some more small circles round and around, then back towards the outside, and then back towards the center. We're going for 330 grams of water. Perfect. And then the very last thing I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna give it this small shake. You can either do this with your brewer, you could use a spoon. You wanna be really gentle, but the whole idea is to grab any of the coffee that's kind of sitting on the sides of the brewer, really pull it to the bottom. That way the water is extracting all the potential flavor from this coffee. It is already so flavorful, but we don't wanna leave any of that behind. And we're at about 2.5 minutes. We're shooting for about 3.5 total. And the reason for that is we wanna create a brew that grabs the full spectrum of potential aromatics, the smells, and the flavors. If you brew too quickly, let's say under 2 minutes or under 3 minutes, you're really missing out on some of the deeper, rich tones of the coffee. And excessively long brew times, over 3.5 minutes, when you get closer to that 4 minutes, you can still have good brews, but you're really gonna start to get a lot more of that maybe the roast tone, some of the earthiness of the coffee. So we don't want to grab onto a lot of that. We really want to keep this coffee light, bright. All right, so this brew is just finished right around 3.5 minutes. I'm just gonna set this aside. And it's blueberry heaven for you blueberry coffee people. So what makes this coffee special? Like I said, it's got this special, really unique processing method. So all coffee is really fermented. But what happened here was they actually took the depulped coffee seeds, the beans, pre-roasted of course, and they are actually putting that in a barrel with coffee fruit, which is why we call it cascara, and water. And we're anaerobically fermenting this coffee for a couple days. And what that does is it actually increases the levels of fruitiness, acidity, sweetness. Kind of reminds you of what a classic Ethiopian natural coffee would taste like with those blueberry tones, but it retains more of the delicate aromas and the intense citrus acidity that you would find in your typical washed Ethiopian coffee. So it's the best of both worlds, and it brings this holistic magical, just kind of mind-altering flavor to your cup. Ethiopia Alo Village Cascara Anaerobic. It's available on our website right now. One of our top 5 favorite coffees of all time, and you can pick it up in this awesome 6-ounce size, so you can give it a shot. You need any brewing equipment, it's also available on our website.